Hi there, I'm Zack Lawrence. I'm a filmmaker and voice actor, and I have fibromyalgia. Let's talk about that. So this is really very impromptu. I have a vague idea of what I want to talk about. I've been thinking for a little while that I haven't really given a full update / introduction about what's wrong with me. I've met new people, made new friends, and not everybody knows what's wrong with me apart from, the battery on the camera is flashing, so stand by for that. In the interest of explaining to my new acquaintances and friends what's wrong with me, I thought I should make a video and just kind of be a bit more detailed, and because not everybody knows what fibromyalgia is. In fact, a lot of people don't know what it is. So the short version is I am in pain all the time. You know how they give you that pain scale at the doctor? Between 1 and 10, how are you feeling? Well, I'd say my baseline, like my daily existence, is probably around the 5 to 6 range. So that's the short version. I should also explain that this is a chronic condition. There is no cure. I am always going to be in pain. It's just a question of how do we manage it. So with the simple version out of the way, here is a slightly more detailed definition from mayoclinic.org. Fibromyalgia is a disorder characterized by widespread musculoskeletal pain, accompanied by fatigue, sleep, memory, and mood issues. Researchers believe that fibromyalgia amplifies painful sensations by affecting the way your brain and spinal cord process painful and non-painful signals. Symptoms often begin after an event such as physical trauma, surgery, infection, or significant psychological stress. In other cases, symptoms gradually accumulate over time with no single triggering event. Many people who have fibromyalgia also have tension headaches, temporomandibular joint (TMJ) disorders, irritable bowel syndrome, anxiety, and depression. Yeah, reading through that list of symptoms again, it's like, me. But I do want to back up. It did talk about how the symptoms come on due to a traumatic event or an injury or surgery. Yes, all my health problems started when I injured my back. Oh gosh, how long ago was that? Well over a decade ago now. Man, I'm old. Long story short on that, I had surgery to fix the herniated discs in my back, and ever since then, it's been all downhill from there. And again, this was like a decade ago, so I was in my mid-20s when all this happened. Early to mid-20s, actually. I just turned 35, so I guess I'm not that old, but middle age is on the horizon.
Am I having a midlife crisis?
So yeah, my body hates me. I am always in pain, whether it's in my back or my joints. Oh yeah, on top of that, it's not just fibromyalgia. I also have inflammatory polyarthropathy, basically arthritis. It mostly affects my hand joints, my fingers, and has been affecting the TMJ problems, which as a voice actor, I really need this stuff to work, right? Temperature really does affect me. Changes in the weather affects me. Winter gets really rough. If I get too cold, it can cause a flare-up. If I get too hot in the summer, it can cause a flare-up. If I get too stressed, it can cause a flare-up. I realize I'm using lingo without defining my terms. A flare-up. That is when the pain goes from the baseline levels and jumps and makes things really miserable. And not just the pain levels, it could be the fatigue. I am tired all the time, but there are times where it's like I just have to crash. I go to bed. Sometimes I sleep. Most of the time I don't, even though I really want to, because another fibro symptom, sleep issues. One of my medications' side effect is to knock me out. And even when I do sleep, even with the help of the medication, it is not restful sleep. So even though, I'm asleep, my body does not recharge, which really sucks.
What's your profanity?
The other really big issue I deal with is called brain fog. And it's a lot like what it sounds like. Imagine your brain is enveloped in this super thick fog that you are just stuck in. Another way I've looked at it too is like I'm trapped in a box with no doors or there's a window because I can vaguely see what's beyond, but I can never get to it. I can never reach it. Sometimes my brain just freezes in mid-sentence and I just lose words. It makes concentration extremely difficult. It really blocks the creativity, which is a problem being in a creative profession. And the really bad one that I deal with is the depression. There are times where it's like, I feel like if I could just have the mental clarity, I could cope with the pain a lot better. But usually when stuff hits, it all hits at once, and I can't work, I can't feel comfortable, I get really irritable, and then I feel guilty if I lash out at the family, and it just gets into this cycle, and yeah. So I'm a mess. It also doesn't help that last year I did come down with the
unspecified virus of unknown origin.
And ever since then, my symptoms have been haywire. I was actually starting to do better, but then I wasn't, and I haven't really since. Apparently there are studies being done about the after effects of it on fibromyalgia patients, and at least I'm not alone. Because normally during the spring and summer, I do a lot better. I'm able to be more physically active. I can get better fresh air. I don't have to worry about, maybe the heat of the summer can, like I said, can trigger a flare up. It's usually a lot better for me. And winter, I kind of sets me back to square one again. But this past spring and summer has not been very good. This is probably the roughest I've had in a couple years. I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia in 2016, I should mention. Should have put that at the beginning. And I think the brain fog also kind of contributes to this term I actually just found this week. First time I've heard this one, but it's like, oh, hi, that's me. Kinesiophobia, a debilitating fear of physical movement and activity. Yeah, pretty much. It's, even just trying to do household chores has been a chore. I've had a point now where I have boxed myself in so much because I'm terrified of going through a flare-up, of doing something too much and crashing and being useless for who knows how long afterwards. Because when I crash from fatigue, it can take days to recover, if I recover at all. Because honestly, the way life has been these last several months, I don't know if I've actually recovered from my last fatigue crash, flare-up, crash and burn. I'm still burning. It's made me realize I actually I think I am in this constant state of batten down the hatches, do as little as possible so that we don't flare up. And that is not a healthy mindset. So, yeah, I need to start working through that. And in a way, that's actually kind of what this is kind of spur of the moment. Try to be a little more creative and professional with my setup, better lighting, better audio quality than I normally do for my vlogs. So I'm sure the next question is, what do you do to try to treat it? To help with the inflammation, I do eat gluten-free as much as possible, and that has definitely helped a lot. There's still that joint pain. I'm on, several different medications that were prescribed by both my general doctor and my rheumatologist. I have done counseling for the depression and dealing with that, which has been helpful. The stress reduction is hard when you're under a lot of financial pressure because unfortunately, as erratic as my symptoms are, I'm no longer able to hold down a normal job. Basically, it kind of cost me my retail job because I was in a department management position, but the stress of that was just really taking its toll. I was having to call out frequently, and basically it was a mutual me stepping down. So I went back to just a part-time sales associate, and it just over time it was just getting worse, and it hit a point where it's not fair to my coworkers for me to be constantly calling out and having to cover my shifts last minute. So I made the decision to leave and be a full-time filmmaker, and it's only been by the grace of God that we've been able to keep the lights on and pay bills and all that and rent, and God has graciously provided both through work and just through the generosity of family and friends this past year especially has been when I've been really buckling down trying to get What Are Christians completed. If you'll forgive me a brief sales pitch, What Are Christians? Soon to be available on DVD and book, paperback and ebook for an official small group discussion guide. That was a project that I really felt that God had laid on my heart that was stories that I really needed to tell. And now that that's over with the production of the videos themselves, we're getting ready to launch the product to go along with it. I've been able to really finally start focusing on voiceover. We've come to realize that that's probably going to be my best bet for work for the foreseeable future with any degree of regularity. Of course, freelance voiceover artist, actor, that is so not a secure profession. I hear all my actor and filmmaker friends going, Though I will say, as of the recording of this video, I have landed 2 jobs on Upwork for recurring YouTube video narration. So that's been cool. I am kind of at a crossroads moment. Like I said, beginning to close off the chapter on this latest big project and looking ahead, and still very murky what's going to happen going forward. So for all of you longtime viewers and subscribers and supporters, thank you. Thank you so much for sticking around. I know a lot of you have been with me for years and you have watched me try all kinds of crazy things. Does Ketchup Go with this? Fan films, indie Christian review. I've done a lot of different things. And so the people who have stuck with me through it all, especially my Patreon supporters, I cannot begin. This is one thing you will hear me say a lot, and I do not regret repeating myself on this one, is how much I appreciate you guys. I mean, knowing that even if it's just a handful of people who have stuck with me through all of this and put up with me through all of this, I cannot begin to express how much that means to me and my family. Thank you doesn't begin to cut it. And as for everyone else, if you've stuck around this long through the video, thank you. Thank you for watching. Some of you may be asking, what can I do to help you? Or what do you need? Peace. If you could pray that my family and I could just really know the peace of knowing that God is taking care of us and that He will continue to take care of us, and resting in Him, and just the strength to keep coping, to not give up, to just keep going day after day. And I know a lot of you are going to want to pray for healing for me, and I obviously would love that. But is it weird to say I'm not pinning any hopes on that? Because, the Apostle Paul had his thorn in the flesh that he begged God to take away, and he didn't. And so I figure I'm in good company. Believe me, I have done my fair share of begging God to take this away from me. And He hasn't. And I've accepted that. I really have. It's like I said, I'm in good company. Not the only one. So it really is just more of just having that peace, because the stress of not knowing where the next job's going to come from is, it's a booger. It is so hard, especially on my family, especially on wifey dearest. So I would say, if you want to pray for us, peace and provision are the 2 big ones. Peace of heart, and that God will continue to provide work for me, and sustainable work. And if you're not the praying type, or there's other things you want to do, subscribe. Being able to at least have one of my many YouTube channels monetized would be awesome, because it's a business I'm trying to run here. We kind of need revenue for that. So having that be one avenue would be really cool. So the best free way that you can support my family and our content would be to share it, because just at a kind of a not philosophical level, moral level, I don't want to pay for Facebook ads or even Google ads, because I don't want to give them money. So unfortunately, if you don't pay into the algorithm game, it makes it really hard to get your stuff seen. So please share my content. And I don't care which of my content you share, whatever is most meaningful to you. Even if it's just, does ketchup go with this? That is the most critical way that people can help us out right now, as far as supporting our company, Standing Sun Productions, is share our content. You know, In His Steps is on YouTube for free on Encourage TV. Share that. Ooh, that would 10-year anniversary's coming up next year. Ooh, would you guys want to see like a deep dive history lesson of what it took to get In His Steps made? Because that was quite a journey. I'm looking at I see all the volumes of the script, all the different script revisions on the shelf are looking at me right now. If you would be interested in seeing something like that to commemorate the 10-year anniversary of our feature film, let me know. Anywho, that got way longer and ramblier than I thought it would. So yeah, long story short, too late. I have fibromyalgia and arthritis and mental problems, and I am self-employed full-time, and life is so chaotic right now, but we're still trusting God to get us through because He has gotten us through a lot. And I appreciate all of you who have helped us out in any way, shape, or form over the last 13 years that Wifey Yours and I have been married. So yeah, that's who I am. Hopefully you might be seeing some more of me here. I think that's enough for now. So thanks for watching. We will talk to you next time, whenever that is. Bye.